So, Matt, I invited you on today's show to introduce the new SanDisk Professional PRO-BLADE and the whole modular SSD ecosystem that you guys are introducing. It's going to be shipping soon. So, Matt, why don't you, first of all, introduce this exciting new technology and exciting new drive?
Yeah, I'm so glad to be here, everybody. We're very excited to be releasing this ProBlade product and family of products. We've been working on them for a long time, but really, what we wanted to do was start out to try to do something different. We've been making drives for a long time. We've been doing different shapes and sizes and capacities, but we wanted to solve different problems than we're used to solving, right? And as an example, these SSDs are just awesome to work on.
Sure.
They take the sting out of a lot of the workflow because big files feel small when you're moving them between SSDs. And so, man, it's such a good technology, but the barriers to getting everybody to jump on to a big SSD workflow. I mean, it had to be cost effective, it had to be transportable, it had to be all these different things to kind of make it work for our customers. And what we noticed is when we were putting these nice NVMEs inside of enclosures, they became pretty expensive. And what we wanted to do was find a way to let people scale that SSD workflow without having to bear the burden of the costs and the bulk and different things. And so some of the things we were able to do with the ProBlade system by taking the SSD out and having the capacity in the ProBlade and then having the technology for the interfaces in those different enclosures like the ProBlade transport and the very cool ProBlade station, we're able to solve a bunch of very interesting problems for our customers, for our end users, for our dealers, for everybody kind of in the middle.
Yep.
And so it's a really interesting set of value props.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think one of the things that we find out when we talk to professionals is there's always a concern. How much are they packing into their camera bag? How much are they taking onto the set or into the studio with them? And any area where we can help reduce the amount that needs to be carried, the overall weight, or any of those solutions helps make that overall workflow a heck of a lot easier, right?
Sure. I mean, I'm known for liking to have big toys and I don't compromise much on them. And so I end up with these really big cameras and things that I love. And there's some things you have sometimes that are big. And when you have big toys like that, it's really nice to have small toys to go with it.
Sure.
It's no fun to have a Sherpa carry all of your stuff. And it's just a lot of equipment to have to worry about. So we wanted to do something that really scaled down and was something that people could travel with, travel light with. You know,
Yep.
we know a lot of our customers do this. They're out filming somewhere, they've got to go somewhere remote, somewhere exotic. And, you know, we were working with one of our ambassadors that was filming in a cave in Vietnam. They had to literally carry everything with them through a crazy rainforest to get into a cave. This is the kind of stuff that really helps solve some of those problems for our customers that really need to transport a ton of data. These things are, just a handful of inches long. They're a little bit bigger than a stick of gum. 10 of them weigh a pound, and so you can get 40 pounds of this stuff in I'm sorry, 1 terabyte. 10 of these would be 1 pound, and you can get 40 terabytes out of that. So it's
Wow.
just packing a ton of performance and capacity in a really small space.
Absolutely. And this is basically what the solution is to all of these different challenges we talked about. And that is the new ProBlade ecosystem. So, in this, I know are the blades that you just talked about, as well as the
Yep,
transport, which is what I have on camera here. And then eventually we'll have a ProBlade station. Matt, why don't you run down
that's
the
not
actual
right.
product for a moment?
Sure. And I'm going to cut over to another camera angle over here and show you some of these toys on the desk. Um, I have a couple things here. So I've got my ProBlade transport. This is a portable enclosure. It's got USB 20 gigabit per second connector on the end here. So I'm able to connect this to any of the systems out there that have USB. On most systems out there today, you get 1,000 megabytes a second, but on future systems that come out that might have that future compatibility, we'll be able to enjoy all the 2,000 megabytes a second without the user having to do anything. And so this enclosure itself is built to do the thermal stuff that we love to do, right? We love our SSDs. We need them to run fast. And particularly as we want to record from devices that are capturing video, like cameras, or I'm using my Blackmagic ATEM Extreme ISO, which I love. that can record to USB-C. And we see so many of these devices nowadays wanting to do that. And what's great is once you have this system, you're able to load the blades, fill up the drive. Once the drive is full, simply pop out a full blade, pop in a fresh blade, and you can kind of keep going. And really what we wanted to do was make SSDs as robust as memory cards, but sort of still as awesome as SSDs are. And that's what this system is about, is trying to make SSDs move just like memory cards do.
Absolutely, and these blades are available in the 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte, or 4 terabyte size. And
Yep.
Matt, I just want to clarify that on the ProBlade transport, on the slide that I'm showing here, we're showing the transport available on the 0 terabyte or the same 1, 2, and 4 terabyte. The transport itself is your dock, is your reader. The 1 terabyte, the 2 terabyte, the 4 terabyte versions is basically the transport bundled with your first blade drive. And
You
then
got it.
that's also going to be available with that ProBlade station, giving you the capability to ingest off of multiple blades at the same time, right, Matt?
You totally nailed it, buddy. So
Perfect.
essentially what we wanted to do was have a starter kit. And for people out there that want to just get into this and have a simple experience, buy a drive, use it like an SSD, take it out of the box, plug it in and go.
Yep.
You can buy the drive that comes in some capacity. It comes preloaded. You just plug it in and start going.
Sure.
Super simple. For people that already have one and they need more because maybe they've got another system or they want to have one left at the office and another one left on a camera and another one in their bag, obviously you want to be able to buy them with no additional capacity just to have additional transports.
Sure.
Likewise, the benefit of this whole thing, where this whole thing starts to go crazy, is the economics of it start to make a ton of sense when you don't have to buy essentially a $69 piece of technology every time you need more capacity.
Right.
And so the Pro Blades themselves are priced in such a way where if you're buying more SSDs, if you buy more than one SSD, this system is going to save you money while it rewards you with this less bulk and then the moving data between transport and station. That's a whole story in and of itself. When you're copying data, even off of an NVMe, it can take up to an hour for 4 terabytes and even longer if your source is slower than that. And what we wanted to do was be able to go in the field with a bunch of blades, capture data, do our work in the field, come home with the blades full, and then immediately load them into the station and begin editing on them, copying them, doing all the work that we like to do. That saves hours. I mean, if it's an hour per 4 terabytes and you can load four in there, that's 4 hours of time savings, a
Sure.
bunch of weight savings, and a bunch of money. So it just is a really rewarding system for people that get into it.
What I love about it is you're basically doing for NVMe storage the same that the razor blade industry has done. You're buying the razor in the transport, but then you're adding the blades to it with the blade. And now having that blade to pop in and out and get the storage, you're investing separately in the storage technology and that fast reading technology, allowing you to help get the most affordable solution throughout the entire professional workflow.
I remember when we were launching some USB-C SSDs, and there was 3.1, and then there's 3.2, and then we're going into a place where USB 4 is coming. Thunderbolt 3, Thunderbolt 4. I mean, this stuff just kind of evolves, right? And
Sure.
and to some of us, it doesn't evolve fast enough. To some of us, it evolves way too quickly.
Right.
One of the things that ends up happening, though, is when these interfaces transition, a lot of the fast SSDs like these NVMEs can be locked behind old interfaces and they become less interesting. But because we can take the NVMEs out of the enclosures and move them between systems, this is also future proof. And we'll be starting with the SN7 series inside of these. So they're 3,400 megabyte a second SSDs natively. And in the future, when we move to different SSDs, you'll obviously have the native performance in the blades. And as you migrate to new enclosures, the drives get better over time. And so we're going to be preserving so much of the value of that expensive component, the storage part, and the data that's on it, which is even better, will go along with all of these interface changes. And so, like I said, I mean, this is really just an interesting way for people to keep the precious part of the system with them as technology changes.
And Matt, I would also say for a pro content creator, you're also separating the transport or the station as their workflow solution, whereas the blade becomes their storage, which becomes easily accounted for in each project. I know if I need three 2 terabyte blades in order to handle an upcoming project, I can bill that expense to that client and keep my costs related to the project that I'm working on.
Yeah. I mean, we know that people are working on projects and some drives are a function of those projects. And some of these tools are the tools that we own to make us more productive.
Sure.
And so this is going to help people have those kinds of systems. And, we've done some fun things. I don't know if you guys are able to see all this stuff. I'll actually switch to the other camera here, but the drives themselves are built on the back here. There's a space for people to put project information on them and stuff. And so I'll tell you, the little details that the team thought through on this stuff is really what sets this stuff apart. And another one as an example is just even the USB cables. We are doing some stuff to try to clarify what's happening in the interface stuff. We have some of these drives where we've got a $600 SSD, a $60 or $70 reader here, and in some cases a $3 cable is connecting these things to your system. And these, if it's not the right cable, you won't get the performance you expect.
Right.
To make sure people get all of the performance we're giving, we put marking on the cable to let people know that it's USB 20 gigabit per second. The same marking is on the back of the drive so that you can match that too. And so we're really pulling out all the stops on SanDisk Professional. We want this to be the most efficient workflow we can do and help people save time, save money, save weight, do all those things, and have a sweet looking system while they're doing it.
Absolutely, and I think the marking on the cables is brilliant because we know at some point throughout the workflow, those cables are going to be thrown in the drawer or the box with all the other cables the guy has, and then to find out that you're hindering your workflow speeds by not using the
Yeah.
proper cable for the drives would definitely be a source of frustration. So, Matt, one of the questions we get asked all the time, anytime we introduce new storage, is who is the perfect customer that's going to be able to take advantage of the ProBlade solutions?
This is a great question. When we were originally kicking this thing off, we were thinking that any customer out there that is in the market for buying more than one SSD a year is going to really benefit from this. People out there that are consuming SSDs, living the drive life. These are the folks out there that are going to enjoy saving money, saving weight, and just getting more capacity for the dollar by having the capacity separate from that enclosure interface technology. So it's really, if you've got customers that are in the shops buying more than one SSD, this is a great recommendation. Essentially, the first time you buy it, you're going to pay $30 more to get into the system when you buy the enclosure and the blade. The second blade you buy without that technology to change it over to USB is when you save $30 on the pound for pound kind of experience.
Right.
And so that second blade, you're saving money. The third blade, you're saving money. By the time you get into the 10th and 20th blade, you're way ahead on
Sure.
what you would have done. We're also starting to try to see, in some cases, some of the HDD parts of the workflow, people need to have an all flash workflow. Maybe it's a requirement now coming down to them. This is a system that's going to help people kind of begin to transition to an all flash workflow. That was another one of the big goals. And so if we have customers that are coming in saying, hey, I need to make the move to no more spinning media, this is a system that's exactly built for them as well.
Absolutely, and I have to tell you, I even love the illustration you have with the transport hooked up next to your Blackmagic camera. So anyone who's looking for that USB storage solution on the camera themselves can benefit from the compact design of
Yeah.
this unit.
Yeah, I mean, these are awesome cameras. This is the Blackmagic Ursa 12K, and I love a 12K camera, right? Because these things are filling up pretty quick.
Yep,
I think that when we were looking at the rate, we were looking at the 512 cards filling up in 10 or 15 minutes.
sure.
And so that obviously is not enough time. There are different solutions for adding SSDs to these cameras, and Blackmagic makes a way to put a U.2 in there. We've got this method. We're using a small rig mount for batteries to mount the transport right here to the side of the camera. And then, of course, the beauty is once this is rolling, if things start to fill up, you can just pull the blade out, pop a fresh one in. And so we really wanted to get to solve this problem of record to USB-C. There's more devices doing it because it's a really nice benefit to record to USB-C. You get the capacity, you get the performance of 1,000 megabytes a second, and we need something that's got sustained performance for that kind of capture workflow. That's what this whole system is about. We can sustain the level of writes the entire time until this drive is completely full. And it's because of the thermal work and the crazy engineering that goes on
Right.
inside these walls to get these things to work as fast as we can get them to go.
Absolutely, and of course it's the portability of the unit itself as well. When you take the SSD drive and you talk about the security of not having a spinning disk to throw into a case to bring to your next project, but now you take the size of these units and how you can throw multiple blades with one of the transports into a case and still have a very portable solution, you can really bring it to any set anywhere.
We're working on some cases. I've got something behind me here that's actually pretty awesome and designed. We're looking at for the Pro Blades themselves, but I mean, we want to build some systems to help people kind of get these things out into the world and get them working. And I mean, they're already pretty indestructible. I think we've got 4,000 pounds of crush on the Pro Blades themselves, but they're nice, and we want to give people options for how to take care of their nice things and travel with them confidently. But they're really pretty indestructible, right? We use
Yep.
this aluminum that we wrap them in. The thing's got a 4,000 pound crush proof rating. We put this fancy connector on the end there to make sure it works. But you know, here's my friend Lucas. Our poor buddy Lucas was going to go film this stuff,
Right.
and it was a project he was working on where he had to go to 9 different countries, 12 locations. He had this entire cart full of Pelican cases, which I'm sure a lot of our customers are familiar with. The dang thing added up to 42 pounds. And that was what it took for him to kind of get this project going, which is awesome. I mean, that's a lot of storage, and we're grateful that he was doing that. But
It's
when
still
we
underneath the weight limit for
yeah,
most airlines. Barely.
when we were able to get him to leverage this new system we can essentially replace the workflow that he had. It's a little bit of a different workflow, right?
Yep.
In the case of those big drives, he had one big volume that held all of the stuff, and then he had some smaller volumes. In this, we have a lot of small volumes, and so it is a different use case, a different workflow. But at the same time, we're able to go from 42 pounds to less than 8 pounds, and you could fit most of this stuff in a cargo pants pocket. And so this is a really interesting solution
Yep.
from a weight, from a size, from a cost. I mean, everything kind of adds up here to make it a more fun trip when you don't have to carry all that extra Pelican case.
I'm sure Lucas really appreciated that as he was running through the airport to hit 9 different countries and 12 locations in less than a month.
There you go.
That's crazy. That's awesome. So you're basically 20 pounds of 4 terabyte blades with the transport and the station, all for under 8 pounds. That's really,
Yeah.
that's incredible workflow.
Yeah, we're super excited about that part. I mean, I love the performance, I love all that stuff, but at the end of the day, the people that have to go out and schlep this stuff around are going to be grateful for the amount of weight that we're also able to take out of their bags.
Absolutely. One of the things I wanted to show here, because I think one of the things that gets lost sometimes when we show a picture or even show the blades on camera is the actual size of the unit itself. Here we're showing the ProBlade station next to the SanDisk Professional Pro dock, which is already a compact dock, and you can see how much smaller in the picture that ProBlade station is compared to it. It's half the height, approximately the same width, and you're getting that SSD blade storage solution all built in
Yeah.
with this SSD speed.
So we had a vision. It wasn't just to make cool little blades, it was to actually put all of these things together to solve a particular problem. And when we wanted to do SanDisk Professional, it was really all about how do we find ways to get the time it takes to get the data off the cards and onto the drives to be as small as possible.
Right.
And as it turns out, the best way to do that is going to be a Pro Dock 4, some of the Pro readers, and then some of the stations. And we built the ProBlade station to be half the height of the Pro Dock on purpose so that two ProBlade stations stacked up right next to the Pro dock, connected with Thunderbolt over a daisy chain, would allow you to ingest 4 camera media cards to 4 ProBlades, and then back that up to 4 more ProBlades for the fastest workflow that you can ever imagine for just about any piece of camera media. And so we're working on ways to kind of bring all these systems together to, again, take the amount of time it takes to get these tasks done and cut it down to size. This is something that we want to do. We want to make 12K feel like 4K because we would love it if more people were out there shooting 12K.
Absolutely. And, obviously, one of the biggest challenges when you shoot at the higher resolutions is storage. So now to work with a storage company like SanDisk Professional that is addressing these needs makes it that much easier to take just something like the Blackmagic cameras, the Red cameras, and go to a 8K, 12K, higher resolution workflows to get the proper storage that you need. And now we're talking about the on-camera recording and the faster offloads, which, Matt, I think you and I have spoken about quite a bit, but this is really going to be one of the big advantages of what that ProBlade station offers.
Yeah, I mean, really, the station is really an incredible tool. You can do simple things like load a bunch of blades and simply access a ton of capacity all at the same time. You can have multiple blades in that so that you're duplicating to multiple blades and you've got a series of copies for different things. We've got a capture on camera and then, sending one copy off for dailies. These are very normal things to do. And we want to help our customers, again, save that time and to get more projects done per year is really what it comes down to. And the more things we can do per year, the more things we can make, more income we make, the more things we sell. I mean, it's just a virtuous cycle if we can take the time out of all of this work.
Absolutely. And again, this is where thinking about the workflow and being familiar with the workflow really plays into the product development and product design that you guys are doing. Matt, I can imagine that these products were very well received at the Synergia show last week.
It was a nerve-wracking thing when we were launching this thing. We've been working on it for years. We started working on this before the pandemic, and of course that made things challenging in and of itself. But this giving birth to this system and getting this out in the hands of people was nerve-wracking. I was so grateful. My friend Christina, who I work with all the time, was able to take it to NAB, and then we went to Cinegear, and the response is unbelievable. The partners we have, some of the camera partners we have, are very excited about it for reasons we've discussed. But the end users and our customers are ready to embrace this because they do want that all-flash workflow. And I think we've found a couple of cool problems to solve, and I think done a pretty good job of it. And so reaction's been really, really strong.
So thanks, Matt. I always love when we have a guest joining us to talk about exciting new products. The biggest advantage to me is just how tiny these drives are and how versatile and easy the workflow becomes when you put it into this housing or when you put it into the ProBlade station, and now you have everything you need to do at every production system along the way. You can take these and ship them throughout the country for nothing. You can take them and pop them into your workstation and have everything all set to go. If you have any questions about the ProBlade drives or about any of the products available at Videoguys.com, give us a call at 800-323-2325. Gary will be back with us next Tuesday, so until next week, thanks for joining us.
Videoguys is available Monday through Friday. Give us a call at 1-800-323-2325. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram to stay connected with all of our updates. And you can like us on Facebook. Keep an eye out for our live videos, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.